Dear people of Calvary, in the woods and swamp in southwest Georgia, a community theater has been taking stories from their small town and weaving them into inspirational plays for almost 30 years. They call the annual production Swamp Gravy, and people come from all over the state to attend. We got to go to a show one time, and even all these years later, we've never forgot the song they sang at the beginning. Now don't worry, I'm not going to sing, but I do want to share the words. Well, I've got a story to tell, and you've got a story to tell. And you've got a story, and I've got a story. It's one we know so well. So you tell me yours, and I'll tell you mine. And we'll put them all together. We'll spice them all up. We'll have a storytelling time. At Calvary, we too are people shaped by story. By stories from our sacred scriptures. Stories that tell us of creation, promise, suffering, deliverance, exile, healing, death, and new life. That's why, even after thousands of years, we gather together and listen to these stories. They have power and change our lives. And, just as we have our collective stories, we also have our own stories. And some of these stories are prominent in our minds and hearts, but others live below the surface. Our stories shape us in profound ways and help us respond in times of crisis and uncertainty. And it's here that I would like to direct our attention. You see, each of us has a story, a different story, about the events of the last number of months. Each of us has responded in different ways. Some began staying home way back in February and have largely remained there since. Some yearn for church the way it was, and are upset that the church ever stopped gathering in person. Some cannot wait to return, and others will wait until there is a vaccine. Some know people personally who have suffered from this virus, while others think the whole thing is just overblown. As we as a community continue preparing to regather, it is important for each of us to take a moment and think about our story of this virus. And not just that, but to understand the story beneath our story. That we decided to stay at home because we were in an at-risk group or had young children. Or that we are eager to return because we are lonely. Or we miss the beauty of this sanctuary. We miss the liturgy and communion. Or we simply long for routine. Understanding our own story is a critical next step as we prepare to regather. Hearing and understanding other people's stories so that we can respond with respect and kindness. I have been saddened to see the larger culture engage in shaming people based on their response to this virus. And as a community of people with many different opinions, Calvary is not immune from that kind of harmful behavior. Knowing and sharing our stories takes courage and vulnerability. Fellow Episcopalian and author Brene Brown tells us that vulnerability is about showing up and being seen. And it's tough to do that, she writes, when we're terrified about what people might see or think. There's been enough pain and loss this year. Let's not add to it by laying down empathy and picking up shame. Let's understand our story so that we can be open to others' stories. Let's do the hard work of staying in relationship in the midst of our differences. That would certainly be a mighty answer to Jesus' prayer in John 17, that we, the church, would be one. What a picture of the new creation that would paint. for those around us. What life that kind of love can give us. Before we finish, I want to briefly update you on our work to regather. The task force, vestry, and staff finalized our plan and submitted it to Bishop Ryan yesterday. As exciting as it has been to dream and think of returning, the number of new cases in Bastrop County and around Texas are setting daily and weekly records. The virus is here, and it is rapidly spreading through our community. Please be safe. Practice social distancing and wear a mask if you have to leave your house. In the meantime, join me and the rest of your Calvary family in doing important spiritual work now to prepare us to come back together as the one holy Church of God. May the Lord bless us and keep us in His hands of love during this time.